Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Metroid Prime! In the last episode, we explored Fendrana Drifts and Magmore Caverns and obtained the Boost Ball. This episode, we will be getting on and exploring some Boost Ball accessible areas later, but for now, there's actually a cheeky little missile expansion we can gather here that's really easy to get. If you just come down here, so the gunship's there, just here, missile expansion under here, all you need to get this is just Morph Ball. But obviously, unless you come back here, you won't get it, because I've mentioned this before, that a lot of this game is kind of about just backtracking once you've got the right stuff and knowing what to do and when. And that's what a kind of guide like mine that I'm attempting to build here is useful for. Anyway, what we're doing now, we could have technically done earlier, and we don't have to technically do now. But plot-wise, this is a nice kind of point to point it out. And there's a couple of scans over here we can get as well. If we come up through this door, we can scan these little fuckers on the ceiling. Oh my god, they're shooting at me. These are seedlings. They are plant-based ground feeders. Dorsal spines can be ejected in self-defense. That's all we get on them. So they just sit there and shoot shit at you, pricks. But yeah, like there's nothing to stop us coming through here, but then we do need missiles up ahead. But then, a new area. So this is the impact crater that we've heard talked about in some of the Chozo lore a little bit, about where the meteorite touched down. And indeed, there's something interesting up ahead. This is an important scan, because this is some pirate data. Field team reports are in on an aged structure of alien design built on the surface of Talon 4. Studies show the structure projects a containment field. This bars access to a prime source of energy within a deep crater. Science team believes the field is powered by a number of strange Chozo artifacts. We have found some of these relics, and studies on them have begun. As this field could hinder future energy production operations on Channel 4, we must dismantle it as soon as possible. If this means the destruction of the Chozo artifacts, it will be done. So we've kind of heard them a bit talking about the source of energy at the source of this thing, and the Chozo kind of barring the area off generally, so something's definitely going on around here. We've also heard reference to the artifacts before. There's another couple of bits of Chozo lore we can pick up here as well, if we come to the left and scan this one. This one is called Prophecy of Light, that's it. Throughout our living nightmares, we battle with this unyielding darkness. We Chozo see a light. This light glows with promise, chasing the shadows cast by the great poison and purifying that which has grown toxic. It is strange, though. At times it looks to our eyes as if the light coalesces into the figure of a woman. Burning brightly, the luminescence descends from space and then retreats back into the infinite blackness from whence it came. When this prophecy comes to pass, when the light recedes, the Chozo's long vigilance of containment will finally come to an end. Wonder who that might be talking about. Also, I do like this thing of how this looks like Samus's visor. You always kind of forget that the power suit is Chozo design, and then you remember it when you see shit like this. Additionally, another Chozo lore over here. This one is Contain, the containment of the great poison. This task has fallen to the Chozo, and we will not flee from our duty, even as we suffer with the land and its creatures. We will pour our will into the 12, the artifacts that, when brought together, form the lock that holds this great evil at bay in the depths of the planet. This lock must stand up to all who might come to assault it. To preserve the power of the seal, and to protect it from those who would meddle for their own designs, we will spread the artifacts across the land, hiding them from prying eyes. The lock must never open until the day comes when this disaster can finally be put right. So we've heard a fair bit about the 12 artifacts and stuff like that, and obviously we probably need to gather them at some point. But anyway, here we see some of my favourite music in the game. Most of the music in this game is my favourite music in the game, but this is a really pretty area, I think, the Artifact Temple. I love like the bird look of the Chozo and these kind of their totem pole-y kind of style. But also there is something important here. In the middle is this little thing. This is a Chozo artifact. Collect it, then scan the totems here for clues on the locations of the remaining artifacts. Together, the artifacts will open a path to the center of the impact crater. Chozo artifact acquired! This is the Artifact of Truth, the first of 12. Scan the totems here for clues. I'm not actually going to do that because some of the clues annoy me because they're really spoilery. But essentially there are 11 more artifacts hidden around the place, and each one of these will give you a hint as to where it is with one crucial kind of little thing. Like I'll scan this one because we kind of know vaguely about the area. Basically, translating Chozo ruins. A sun chamber high atop our ruined home became the nest of a great beast and a source of corruption. Many Chozo spirits have been drawn to this tainted place. Release their bond to claim the artifact of Wild. So, we know what some of that means. We don't know what all of it means, but the thing about the each one has in green the name of the room in which it's found. So that one's found in the sun chamber, but we need to do something there that we can't actually do yet, and each of the other ones kind of does that, but obviously I'll be going through them anyway, so there's no point in me spending like 10 minutes scanning all the totems there to show you the clues. Anyway, let's head back to the landing site. So, back here, that was all a little bit of a detour, but plot-wise it felt good to start getting the idea of the artifacts in your head now, so you kind of know that we're keeping an eye out for them and what the purpose of them is, because, like, you don't really need to actually have gathered all the artifacts until quite late on in the game, but it makes sense to gather them as you go along, like with everything else, rather than doing kind of a lot of searching at the end. But anyway, last episode, really, the important thing was we got the boost ball. And, if you look where we come to here now, look at this! Look at this queer half-pipe shaped structure. And this is something that can only be utilised properly with a boost ball. And as I said last episode, and I'll say it again, I really like the way that they don't ever tell you that. They never tell you that, oh yeah, boost balls are used to gain momentum in half-pipes. No. But you just can't progress without doing that. Very clever game design there. But anyway, you can come up here, and you could not get up here without the boost ball. And additionally, you need bombs to break through this little section. And this takes us to something kind of interesting, because we come down here, and we enter this new little room, just the gully. But if you look on the map, you'll see that the gully is actually taking us back towards the landing site where the ship was. And indeed, we are just up here. Except for the fact that we're up here now. We couldn't get up here before. And indeed, wow, there's a little glitch you can do when you jump off that thing and up to there, but I'll talk about that in a second. If you come in here, we get another power-up really quickly onwards. Really quickly onwards? That doesn't make any sense. Really quickly on from the last one, I suppose is what I meant. These are the space jump boots. It's nice when we get... I always find it satisfying in this when you actually start getting power-ups that you didn't already have and lose. You're actually gaining fresh ones now. Basically, we can double jump, which is useful, extremely, just for getting around generally, as well as opening up a lot of new areas. But yeah, like, you can get up here now quite easily from doing like a space jump from this. You're going to go boop, boop. But what you can do is there's a little glitch for kind of, that I know, like speedruns and stuff using this game. It's called a scan jump, which is, theoretically, put the scan visor on and jump, and basically if you run and jump, I don't know exactly how to do it, but basically it involves running and jumping using the scan visor, and you can kind of glitch the game out and jump further than you should be able to. Anyway, we're now actually going to go on a massive detour all the way back, well not back detour, just a massive kind of expedition I suppose, all the way back down into Magmore Caverns and back to the central large monitor station. So, as you will have noticed by now, the monitor station kind of serves as a bit of a central hub for this particular part of Magmore Caverns, because there's a lot of stuff that links kind of to and from it, and indeed, it kind of looks, looking at the top map, like we've uncovered all of the areas here and kind of gone through all the doors, but we haven't. There is now one more that we have access to. Now we have two specific upgrades, the boost ball and the space jump boots. And this is quite cool. Oh, let's kill that thing first. And again, they take 2 missiles now. I bitched about that last episode, and it's still slightly annoying because they're the same enemy. But anyway, if we come to this bridge here, so that's the way to kind of Fendrana drift through there. But you can now space jump up onto this thing. And now up onto this upper bridge. And now there's some different stuff up here. If we scan this thing, it says, collapsible suspension bridge is functional but requires power. Where does the power come from, you ask? Well, from this new scan. Research scan. This is a standard spinner device. The generator belt of the spinner can be activated by rapid rotational force. Use the boost ability of the morph ball when inside a spinner to activate the device. So it's quite simple. We hop in, then just press and hold B repeatedly. So boink, and you can see to our left that suspension bridge slowly raising. And then we get access to this kind of secret area up here. And this kind of fits in quite nicely with having the space jump boots and also some other stuff that I was talking about earlier. You'll see what I mean. It's a long little walk around here. After this little detour, we will be back to kind of what we need to be doing, because there's another key thing that's now happened with the space jump boots and Fendrana Drift. But anyway, now we reach this little room, the Warrior Shrine. And indeed, up here is the Chozo artifact. This is specifically the Artifact of Strength, the second of 12. I think I actually do have a specific numbered order, and I'm not necessarily going to get them in that order. It just happens that Truth and Strength go in that order. So it just kind of made sense to come and get that one now, since we've just got, but not only just got the space jump boots, but also talked about artifacts this morning. This morning? Earlier on in the episode is what I meant. Well, it is morning here, it's 9:30, but still. Anyway, I'm going to head now back to the kind of main Fendrana Shores area of Fendrana Drifts. Now, this is the kind of, as I've mentioned before, kind of the hub of Fendrana Drifts. And actually, there's something I kind of do need to point out. I'm not going to utilize it particularly, but just because it's important to know. If you come around here and under here, This little thing through here is a save station. I never pointed this one out because I never actually like used it for saving. So I kind of forgot it was here. And then I realised I was like, because I was planning stuff through, I was like, there isn't a save point anywhere that we've got to in Fendrana Drift. So I was like, oh yeah, there is. I just forgot to point it out. But anyway, now we've got the space jump boots. Getting around this kind of Fendrana Shores area is a lot easier. We can basically cut certain bits out, which I'll talk about more when we actually get to it. But essentially what matters is this thing over here, this floating platform, which is being held aloft by a gas-based propulsion system attached to its underside. But the point is with this, with a space jump, 1, 2, we can now get up there. That also serves as a shortcut to get up there without having to go around a bit of a detour. But we want to head over here to this really cool-looking structure. I just love Chozo architecture on Challenge 4, it looks so pretty. But this is the whole kind of Chozo Ice Temple is what the area is called, generally. Oh, that's annoying. You can only destroy those bits of ice with a charge beam, and they know what charge beam does when there are bamboos around. Draws them in. Ugh, they're irritating, they are, especially because they can't be killed. Anyway, I think that's a Sheegoth down there. Yes, that is a baby Sheegoth. Oh, no, that's a... Right, down, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, boing! Oh, my god, it just completely bounced off. Also, I'm going to let you listen... Right, so, well, I'm not going to let you listen to the music yet, because, important scan here. This is an ice parasite, a scavenger with a crystalline outer shell. Parasites are hardy creatures, able to adapt to any environment within 3 generations. The ice parasite is a prime example. Having adjusted to a frigid climate, this vermin now thrives in it. Omnivorous, it can exist in areas hostile to most life forms. Don't know why it's called a parasite if it's clearly omnivorous. But anyway, that is actually a crucial scan because, like I mentioned with the ice burrower last time, there is a random point in the game where those things stop existing as well. A lot of enemies in Fendrana Drifts have that. I'll point them out when you get to it. Anyway, we just need to platform up here now. And I'm going to use this chance to let you listen to the music in the Chozo Ice Chapel because it's some of my favourite music in the game. It's just kind of simple but effective, the music. I quite like it. But it evokes kind of ancient ruiny stuff. And if you've watched any of my previous Let's Plays, you'll probably know that I am a absolute sucker for like ancient ruins and ancient civilizations. Love them as a plot device. Anyway, this is a fucking annoying puzzle. Sorry, but... Right, so... Scan this thing, and it says... The statue's hands seem to be frozen in place. And scan under here, and it says there appears to be a shell of ice encasing a water basin. The water originated from the statue's mouth. So it's quite clear what you need to do is kind of somehow melt that. Looks like you might be able to put a bomb there, or like missile or something like that. And then finally there's this gate over here, which has a statue depicting the bust of a Chozo shaman adorns this door. A symbol is carved into its forehead. The symbol translates to pass my gaze, seek my twin within this room. So when I was a kid, naturally I thought, okay, that must be the shaman up there, and we've got to somehow melt the shaman's hands to open the door. No. Completely, that is, for now, a massive red herring, which I find extremely annoying. Because, if we come to the right here, there's this thing. This is a statue depicting a bust of a Chozo shaman. Several stress fractures can be found running along the surface of this brimstone object. Brimstone means missiles. And there's a bomb slot behind it. Hop in it and bomb it. And that opens the door. Well, scan pulses over there slowly, but that opens the door. The whole thing with the statue, with the frozen water and stuff like that, is for much later in the game. And it's so annoying because I spent hours as a kid trying to work out how to get through there and under to the basin of water, or how to melt it using like a combination of power beam and missiles and shit like that. Oh, so annoying. But it's actually a lot easier than I was making it seem. Okay, right, so here we need to bomb through this. Then come underneath and lay a couple of bombs on that to bring that pillar down. Oh, this thing's respawned. How annoying. I'm going to drop 2 there because they take 2 to kill these kind of metal-y platform things. And another 2 there. Oh, and that one's respawned. Goody. That's a fun little puzzle, isn't it? And there we go. Now we get to my cool. So this is a fairly cool looking room. Oh, with a free power up at the end. Let's grab it. That was never going to end well, was it? Let's be fair. Hey, we have to fight. I think it's just 2 baby Sheegoths. Let's see. I think they might throw more at us later. Oh, I just... The trick with these guys is either just make sure you stay behind them. What I tend to do is just use charge beam 2 shots to take off their... Oh, there's another one's appeared. 2 charge shots to take off their carapace and then a missile into the squishy parts. And that pretty much does it. This one's spawned now and a 4th one has also spawned, I believe. But these things really aren't that much of a threat anymore. And 1 more charge beam and then a missile. And once you've taken out all 4 of them... Yeah, how long do you think we could realistically scan baby Sheegoth before encountering this thing? The adult Sheegoth, supreme predator of Phendrana drifts. Sheegoths are invulnerable to most beam weapons. The crystals on their back absorb energy, which they can fire at prey. Sheegoths have poor stamina. They hyperventilate after using their breath attack, making their mouth area vulnerable. The soft underbelly of a Sheegoth is susceptible to concussive blasts. In battle, they expel blasts of frigid gas to ensnare their targets. They're also fond of ramming prey and trampling their hapless prey. I said prey twice there when I didn't need to. So yeah, like you can, oh, the crystals on its back are firing energy at me, ow. You can deflect those shots somehow by kind of like shooting at them, I think, but I've never managed to get it to work successfully. Nope, you can just have to dodge them apparently. But yeah, it says after using their breath weapon they hyperventilate, which I assume means you can get like a shot in the mouth. There you go, you missile it like that. That never works particularly well for me, I find. I find a much better tactic for taking on the Sheegoth is, it said the underside is vulnerable to concussive blasts. Oh, damn it. Damn it! I'm being frozen, so that means I have to drop bombs to get out. Yeah, they're very vulnerable to morphball bombs. You can just like come underneath it from behind, drop a couple of bombs underneath it, and that I find to be a lot better than having to be on the wrong side of their breath weapon first. But if you just kind of keep distance from them, it's generally alright. Oh, I nearly actually sidestepped straight into that one, and bang. Yeah, like it's not clear that when they hyperventilate, what you've got to do is actually use missiles on it. I wish you had to use the charge beam, because that's my standard against bosses, because... When I first played through this to this point, I was not great at kind of gathering the old missile expansion, so I'd always have like a pretty 10-15 missiles blast points, so I just didn't have enough to sustain me through a boss battle. Therefore, I would always like default to using the charge beam and would never do particularly well in these kind of battles. But now I'm kind of going along getting all the ones we can, so we've got bloody 60 missiles, which is fantastic. Which means we can be really not give a shit about wasting missiles, which is, as I keep talking about every episode, useful. I'm going to go back into Mothball and try and wallop it a little bit from there. You don't need to... Oh, there we go. You don't even need to particularly focus on its underside with the with Morphball bombs. You can just generally hit it. Anyway, with all that taken care of, let's heal up, because I think that'll be some... Yay, she got defeated. Yeah, some missiles and some healing in these various crates around. If you start actually running into trouble, you can use these, but we managed fine there. We're on normal mode. Shouldn't really have a problem with most things in the game. But anyway, here's a cool power-up, something kind of different. So this is the Wave Beam, our first a different beam weapon. So, like with visors that you hold minus and point somewhere on the screen, with beams you hold plus and select your beam like that. So we just need to hold plus and flick upwards, and we get the Wave Beam. So, deal with the Wave Beam. Can open these purple doors. It's electric based, which means it's finally a method of fighting and killing bomboos, which is awesome. And then additionally, I probably should have bloody showed this off before coming through there. And yeah, kind of when you fire it, it fires in this kind of sinusoidal triple wave, which looks really cool. And you can kind of charge it up and go, pew! Its shots move relative to the power beam quite slowly, and like that's the maximum rate of fire there. So power beam is still better for just kind of like dealing a little... It's more powerful this is, but slower. That's the deal with it. Anyway, now let's travel back to the kind of Phendrana shorelines. Well, actually we'll go to the ruins entryway. So here we can kind of show off the Wave Beam a bit more. The charge blast of it can easily damage and kill bomboos. And another nice function of the Wave Beam is the charge shots homes in on a target that you've L-targeted. It's not kind of very clear there, but basically if they move at all, the shot will kind of home in on them. That's the advantage of it being slower moving. So that's quite useful here. So I'll be using it against kind of slow moving enemies and stuff like that. But in times when you just like against like baby Sheegoths or something where you just need raw firepower, it is granted not always the best. Anyway, we're here kind of in the Ice Ruins East, is this? It's either the Ice Ruins East or the Ice Ruins West. Basically the same thing. Anyway, we can explore this area a bit more now by having space jump boots, but also we have the Wave Beam. So we've got a lot of methods that allow us to explore more, because if you look at the map on the top right, there's a purple door there. There's also this stalactite that we scanned last time, and now we can see its weak spot. Launch a missile into that, and down it comes, allowing us to use it as a platform, which means we have to come up here again. And there's another new scan nearby somewhere. You have to be kind of careful a bit. Oh, as well, the other thing that's worth noting is after fighting the Mama Sheegoth, baby Sheegoths now spawn in more areas around Fendrana Drifts, like the kind of main Fendrana Shorelines area. Anyway, important scan here. I'm going to try and scan them before they attack me. These are ice shriek bats, ice-cased ceiling dwellers. Like standard shriek bats, these creatures are easily spotted with thermal imaging. They roost on cave ceilings and subsisting on insects, reptiles, and small mammals. Fiercely territorial, they will dive bomb anything that wanders near. They're the same as a normal shriek bat, but they're icy. But yet again, they're one of those Fendrana Drifts enemies that disappears at a random point in the game. Again, I will point out when that is before it happens, so make sure you scan them when you're given a chance. But, they're dead now. So that's kind of cool. That reminds me of so Metroid Prime 2, Echoes, the kind of sequel to this, has multiplayer. And I remember when the multiplayer was announced, everyone was like, oh, how's it going to work? Are you going to all play as Samus, or are you going to play as, like, different bounty hunters? This was before hunters and stuff like that happened. And I remember reading someone on a forum on the internet, it was like, oh, I really hope you get the ability to play as an Ice Shriek Bat. I was like, wow. Firstly, that is a really random enemy to choose for kind of wanting to play as. And also, how would that even work? You play as this rat that dive bombs something once and then dies. Very strange. But it kind of stuck with me, and I kind of think of that whenever anyone mentions Ice Shriek Bats. Anyway, this area now is quite an interesting one, because there are 3 exits to it, and they're all right up in the ceiling. So to get to them, there are 2 spinners we first need to activate. So you spin these until the thing kind of closes down on us, and then we get a bit of a kind of puzzle. So that's the first one, which opens those 2 vents. Wow. Pipes, I suppose you kind of call them. There's some plumbing name for what they are. Pipes with a little cover on the end of them. I'm missing a really obvious word, and I'm not sure what it is, but I'm sure someone in the comments will correct me. You always do anyway. It's why I keep you guys around. Well, I don't keep you around, but you know what I mean. We're a partnership, you and I, viewer. Anyway, if we boost is what I meant to do. And that opens the other 2. So this is a very Zelda-feeling puzzle, this one. So that lights up a bomb slot over here. And this will now kind of start to feel vaguely familiar, because this is a type of puzzle you have quite a lot of, involving jumping around with bomb slots and stuff. So that bomb slot is, it's not over there. Interesting. I've come to the wrong side. The bomb... I sounded like Yoda there. Great, I'm running out of time in the episode, and I can't... Oh, that's because it's above where... I thought I was going in the right direction. It's actually up here. And if we hop into it, and bomb... And even though it doesn't actually look like that much volume of water is falling down of them, that is enough to kind of somehow fill the room. So, we can progress along here. We haven't got long, as you can hear from the timer. But we just need to hop through here. And there's a morph ball. Jump down there. Jump down there! Oh my god. I'm just going to use a bomb then. No! There. Really, game? Really? There we go. And that's an energy tank. Well, theoretically it's a relatively easy one to get, but unfortunately I appear to be completely incapable of performing a simple morph ball jump. But the water level is now kind of reset back down to where it was, and with it the floating platforms. And we do need to get to the top of this room anyway. That's just a kind of little detour for an energy tank, so we just need to do the same thing again. It's going to show me that cutscene again, isn't it? Excellent. As if I didn't learn last time. So we have the same timer as last time, but this time we're going in a slightly different direction. We just need to get to the central bit here. Ow, the stupid flicker bats hit me. Ow, ow! And up to the side. As long as you don't get thrown off the platform by the flicker bats, the timing isn't really a problem. And then there are 3 doors here. You'll notice there is one over there that's actually not got shields on. That door is off right now. There's the purple one. And there's the normal blue one. We're going to head across to the normal blue one. And missile off, because if you look at the time, you'll see it's past 20 minutes. It's actually closer to 25 minutes. And this is a save station, which is handy. We've got our cool purple cannon now. So we'll call it here for the day. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Metroid Prime. We've defeated the nasty Sheegoth. We've got the wave beam. We've also got 2 Chozo artifacts and the space jump boot. Very productive episode. Next episode, we will be exploring more of this particular area of Fendrana Drift, which has got quite a different feel. So you'll see what I mean next episode. Thank you very much, and good day.